What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Michelle Renee from IamMichelleRenee.com, and I am excited to welcome you to a tribe of dope Black women. Tonight, I have some amazing women with me that will be joining this stream, and we are going to be talking about some truly, truly amazing things. I hope that as you come in with us, that you'll be willing to share, communicate in the chat. I am watching what you have going on right here on Facebook, and we're going to be discussing some amazing things. So let me get started. We're going to do some elevator interviews, or some introductions rather, where I bring on our special guests, this dope tribe of Black women, y'all. I'm so excited to have these women with us today. Please welcome first up, Dr. Shaquia Harris. Hey, Quia, how are you?
Hi, guys. I am well. How about yourself?
I'm great. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Well, I am Shaquia Harris. I am an assistant professor at a historical Black college, and I'm a counselor educator, which means I educate people to become school counselors or mental health therapists.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, Quia. We're going to bring on the next one, Miss Blair Tate. What's up, B?
Hey, how are you?
Great. Can you tell everybody who you are and what you do?
Yes, my name is Blair Tate. I am a fitness coach. I am a active duty military instructor. I am the owner and CEO of the clothing brand 8 Figured, and I am a computer specialist with IBM.
That's what's up. I'm so glad to have you, my friend. We are added to this stream to Mika Bennett. How are you, Mika? Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Hi, my name is Tamika Bennett. I'm an attorney by trade. I own Bennett Law Office in Brandon, Mississippi, where I specialize in mostly family law matters, including criminal law, and in addition to that, personal injury law.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being a part of this dope tribe, Mika. We're bringing on the Angela Maxwell, y'all. Welcome, my friend Angie. What's up, Angela? Hey, sis, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Everyone, how are you? Maxwell, I'm a blogger, and events and political links and that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Angie. We are going to bring, now this one you probably have never seen on any kind of social media because she don't do social media, y'all. Welcome to the stream, Miss Deidre She Dope Willis. What's up, D?
What's going on tonight?
We are so happy to have you. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. So good night, everyone. Hello. I am Deidre Willis. I'm a financial advisor, certified financial planner. I operate my own practice. I work with individuals such as yourself who are mastering their careers, business owners, anyone who is really intentional when it comes to your future and living life on your own terms. So that's what I do. I just really help to bring clarity to life and change generations.
Absolutely. And we're going to bring my picture bay on. Everybody, welcome Miss Lomika Messam. Lo, tell them who you are and what you do, sis.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lo Messam. I'm a professional photographer. I've been in the game now for about 7 years professionally. I specialize in families, seniors, weddings sometimes, fashion, and I'm getting more into focusing on photographing entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs.
Yes, awesome. And last but certainly not least, we are adding to this stream my sis, Miss Kedra.
Hi.
She just popped back in her seat. Tell them, sis, who are you and what
Let me catch my breath real quick.
Literally, y'all, she fell into that seat as soon as I clicked on her name.
I'm like, it's not my turn, is it? Hi, everybody. My name is Kedra Archibald. I am an interior architect based out of Atlanta, Georgia. I have my own design company, Lot 726 Interiors, where we focus on new constructions, renovations, residential, commercial, pretty much anything from frame to finish. If you need it done, I can do it. I am a certified kitchen and bath design specialist, so that is kind of like my thing, my niche. And I also do a host of other little side gigs, hair, graphics. I am also I started my own event company this year, Lot 726 and Park Events. So just kind of got a lot of things going right now, but yeah, I'm happy to be a part of this tribe, and I'm sorry that I am out of breath.
Listen,
I
I am
literally
so
just
happy
got
to
in from an
have
install.
Yes, you literally just walked in from an install for real.
Literally.
I'm so happy to have each and every one of you here with us tonight. This is a portion of a tribe of dope Black women, y'all, that is premiering for the first time here, both on Facebook Live and YouTube Live on IamMichelleRenee.com. Let me bring Angie back to the screen. Because tonight we are going to unpack a few things. Each week we will be meeting as a tribal council to discuss things all related to Black women. Sometimes we're going to talk about women's health. Sometimes we're going to talk about things that are happening in society. We're going to leave it up to chance for the different topics that we talk about. But we want you, the viewers, to get involved with what we have going on. You are a part of this tribe as well. So we're excited to have you here. And we hope that you leave this tribal council empowered, that you leave knowing that you've got somebody that can help you reach your goals, and most importantly, that you leave loved and full. All right, we're trying to feel blessed tonight, y'all. So I'm going to take everybody off screen for just a second to talk about what the topics are going to be, and they're going to let me know as they want to chime in how they're going to chime in for this conversation. So again, you are now viewing a tribe of dope Black women, and we are so happy to have you. So the first topic tonight is respecting Black women. What does it mean to respect Black women? Who are we asking to respect us, and what does that look like? So I'm going to bring our guests back on as they chime in and let us know who wants to tackle this first. So in the comment backstage box, ladies, if you let me know who would like to answer this question first, just type me in that chat box for me, and I will bring you back on screen. We are unpacking what it looks like to protect Black women. What does that mean? I kind of want to bring our resident lawyer on this screen so she could talk about it. Hey, Mika, tell us what it means to protect Black women. What does that look like? Help us unpack what this means.
Just primarily speaking, I think when you talk about protecting, you have to respect. And I honestly believe that respect, in order for you to receive respect from outside sources, you really have to have self-respect and self-reflection that empowers you and that embodies who you were created to be. And you have to have the wherewithal within yourself to know that, you deserve respect. You deserve to be protected in every arena. You deserve to be valued. And once we start to know that those are basic things that every human deserves to have, we get to the point where we won't settle for anything less than what God created us to have.
Absolutely, absolutely. When we think about respecting Black women, I wanna touch base with you, Quia, from the perspective of a counselor educator.
Yes.
What does that mean? Like, how do we garner that respect that we're looking for, and why is it so critical as Black women for us to have this?
I know I will come from a perspective of it's the smidget segment of what is considered to be notable for a human. Like it is warranted to every human to feel that respect and that they have that sense of safety, that sense of protection. And so from the counseling perspective, as far as what would that protection look like, it would look like respecting a person's boundaries when it comes towards whether it's emotional, physical. Because if you think about it, emotion is first and foremost, well, my perspective, emotion is first and foremost that leads towards the physical protection. And so if that comes towards a woman's self-worth? Do you protect that? Do you add to that? Or are you taking away from it? That's not protecting it if you're taking away from it. Do you encourage empowerment? Do you encourage her strength? Do you uplift her? That's what protection looks like from the emotional standpoint. Do you respect when she's emotionally feels something that goes against from your perspective? So that goes in hand with protecting a person's boundaries. And when it comes to the physical, that's, of course, keep your hands to yourself when it comes towards as domestic violence awareness is this month.
Yes, it sure is.
That's definitely, are you physically being respectful? And some people may take you touching their hair as disrespect, which I do, unless you have asked to touch me anywhere, because I have set boundaries, and touching me without permission is disrespect, whether it's hair, a shoe, or if you want to go towards like sexual disrespect, groping a woman. So it depends on the individual, but we know as society, oftentimes people may feel as if they can do what they like to other people, but in actuality, you cannot. Each person has a set stance of what they consider to be respecting them.
That's so critical that you kind of broke it down for the emotional, physical, for all these different pieces. And when we think about respect, your first mindset goes to, okay, they're talking about respect my body, respect my person. But no, it is respect my mind, respect my feelings, respect my space, respect my opinion, all these different things. Keidra, you want to chime in on that?
Yes, I definitely agree with Dr. Kia. I think it's a combination of what it really just depends on how certain people define respect. Like you said, it could be mind, body, spirit. Because those have been touched on, I can just say we as Black women all together, we are protectors. We're natural protectors. We always are uplifting others. I think it's also important that we learn how to respect ourselves. We have to know our worth, and we have to focus on self-care first. And when, like, I don't have any children or anything like that, so I know, like, for the mothers, they will, you're always going to take care of like your family, your children, your husband, and everyone else. But I think in order to be able to help someone else, you have to be in a healthy frame of mind yourself. So I had to learn that it was just important for me to protect myself and respect myself and know my worth, and especially in like an industry for interior architects or interior designers, all of us in a cluster of my particular industry, we represent what, 3%, and of that 3%, 1% of that is female, and so I'm always in a battle every single day in this industry, just trying to fight for respect. If I raise my voice too much, then I'm the angry Black woman. If I show up and I'm talking to contractors and giving direction and stuff, then I'm a diva, and then I show up like this in sequence, and I'm not like your typical, I don't have news reporter hair, as I would say, I'm just myself, and so when I show up, it's already like a wall, like up, or like she doesn't know what she has. So I've always had to let my work speak for itself. And then when I really felt like I was being disrespected, I kind of held that back and just protected that, and started protecting everything around me. But I think I went overboard in protecting myself. But I now know at least what I have to do first, and that's take care of me. And it's okay to share your work, and it's okay to be criticized, but we have to learn our self-respect first.
And I think you touched on some major points, Keidra, with that, because you talked about kind of creating the blueprint for somebody to respect you, right?
Right.
Like you set the standard for how people are going to treat you. What were we going to say, Dr. Quia?
I was just going where you're going, but the thing is, a lot of people don't know respect for themselves. They don't
That's
know
true.
how to respect themselves. So how can they give it to someone else, but they don't have it for themselves? A lot of times they don't have a blueprint of how self-respect looks. And so they can't give you what they don't have.
Yeah, I'm 43, and I like I said, that was my lesson, like learning it, like now, like most recently, like probably within the last 18 months, to be honest with you. So I definitely, it's a process to get to that point. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you gotta
You
have
know,
this.
that's what I was gonna say, and just to echo what Kedra said, what Dr. Quia said, you know, the first thing when it comes to respect and even being able to protect someone, you have to have a standard. Like when I think about respect, I think about a standard, right? So the first thing that if you want respect, you have to already identify what respect really means to you.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Because if you don't have that standard set, then obviously people can treat you any type of way. And when you think about the protection, whether it's a woman, whether it's your career, everybody wants some level of respect, regardless of what you're doing. The protection piece has to be holistic. Because think about it, if you feel protected, if you feel respected, you're gonna feel great about everything that you have going. Otherwise, you may have some issues from a mental standpoint if things are falling apart in one particular area. Or if I'm not respected at work, it's going to bleed over to home life. And so I think all of it just ties together. But first and foremost, it's me saying, hey, this is my standard when I think about how I want to be treated and make sure that other people respect that.
Yeah.
You know what? I got to be devil's advocate for just a second, because I agree wholeheartedly with literally every single portion of that. You have to set the standard. You have to do all those different things. But what about when you give people the standard for your treatment and how you desire to be treated? You've set the bar. You've shown them you treat yourself well, and they still don't do it.
You got to know.
You gotta know when to
You
meet.
gotta know when to fold them. You gotta know when to hold them. You gotta know when to walk away, baby. You have to. You teach people how to treat you.
Yep.
If you accept them protruding on your boundaries and don't correct their behavior and allow it to continue to go on, they're going to do exactly what you have allowed them to do.
Yes.
So now
You can't be an
I'm gonna go
enabler.
corporate on you and talk about systemically how Black women are respected. Because we know we are the most educated group in population. We know that we set this standard of how we should be treated. We got degrees on degrees on degrees, certification on certification. We are bosses. We are owning our own things. We are entrepreneurs. We're doing all this stuff. And yet we still make less than every other person in all of our respective fields, right?
Yep.
And when it comes to the way that we are acknowledged in healthcare, to the way that we are acknowledged in other systems, they don't respect us still. So when we talk about respecting Black women, we have to also look at it systemically. What does it look like?
See, that's the issue though, because in the beginning, it was never set for a Black woman to be respected. Like to me, you know about the laws as far as like Black women weren't even considered being able to be raped. They weren't even considered to be raped. Like you were just free property to people.
Yep.
So the foundation is definitely tormented.
And for me,
here's a couple of things I'm going to throw out there because I want to get some thoughts on this. I think that we are respected enough to be admired, right? And to be desired, right? A lot of people, what they see is what they want. When you think about Black women, also they know from a power standpoint, you know, we have what it takes. When you think about conflicts in the workplace or even like the level of credibility, typically we're the competition. So why do you feel as though that other side of the coin is systemic, where there is a lack of respect, when all this is we're the image, right, that people are really looking for?
It's funny because we are the mother of creation and literally the Eve prototype, but yet we're not treated with that level of respect. Go ahead, Angie. I see your wheels turning. I see them.
I have no like facial poker face. But I agree with what Deidre's saying. However, I've been saying for a while also we have to take some personal responsibility also for the way that we are. It's good to be in these sister circles and to have respect for your friends and respect for your family and all of that. But on a larger scale, I think sometimes we have to bear the responsibility for the way we're treated. It's the things that we tolerate. Some of it is learned behavior from men, and we start tolerating from boys. Some of you, me too, guilty. But also for me, I always talk about optics and imagery. So you said that we're admired for, and you made a really, really good point that we're admired for our physical, the way we look, or our hair or whatever. But think about how a lot of that only gets respect after it's duplicated by somebody who's not
after it's appropriated.
Right. And it's a t-shirt that says considered ghetto until someone makes it fashion.
Until
exactly.
Cool. So here's the thing. We have to think about the imagery of that. And imagery is a really big thing. I was talking to somebody the other day and I was telling them, I was like, we watch a lot of these reality shows. You have to think about
what you putting into your system.
The black reality shows and the white reality shows. Because I'm one of those people that do, like, I try to compare and contrast, right? They act a fool on the white reality shows too. But we always act a fool on the black reality shows. Like
always.
Because that's what sells. Think about this. Black people are only 12% of the population, right? So there are very large pockets in this country that people don't even know black people because we're concentrated in different areas. Let's be very honest. So the only exposure they have to black women is Nene Leakes. I ain't got a problem with Nene. I like Nene. I know women like Nene, but I also know other kinds of women. But if that's the only image that you see, when you finally come into contact with a black woman, you expect her to act like
Nene Leakes.
You expect us to
But the one thing that is to be desired for us, I think, is not just like the physical or, like the image that's truly attractive. I think it's so many different, like if you look at a black woman, we're just unique. We are exotic in some type of way. Like we're a creation that is really hard to figure out. And I think that's a piece that's attractive. And that component, you're absolutely right. The duplication of it or trying to duplicate what we have and then flip it and turn into something to where it's respected is where I wanted to get some conversation and discussion going because that's what we see. 100%.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Ange, because I talk all day.
Because like for a lot of reasons, I think that we get treated based on, look at what happened to Megan Thee Stallion, right? And then if you listen to what people say, and if you go into a lot of comment sections, a lot of the black guys say, well, she shouldn't have been acting like, or she raps about, or she acts like, and that's imagery. But that's a character. I was like, you don't know the difference between a character and a human? These are the personality. Go ahead.
People don't know the difference. What this always bothers me because it oftentimes leads to domestic violence and rape.
Yep.
Those kind of frame minds and people like, oh no, that's jumping. That's not jumping. Because if you automatically have that, somebody's behavior can make somebody else do something. The image of this person can make me do this. Then that what makes your behavior okay, whether it's negative towards me, it's okay because you were acting like this. It's not okay.
It's not okay.
And it goes
it's not okay.
Because the white girl can do the exact same thing and you don't have that same thought about her.
Right.
Exactly. That's the reason for wanting to unpack what it looks like to respect us. Because one problem that I have is hearing men say or hearing our black men say what Meg should have done or what Cardi should have done and all these different women and having these boisterous opinions about what these women should have done. But let somebody say that about their mama or their sister and they're ready to tear the city down. That's the problem. You should be holding every single woman in the same regard. It shouldn't be only if she is this way or only if she is that way do I respect her.
Yes,
every single woman, just like every single man, should be respected.
Agree.
for your humanity. And that's what we're missing. Go ahead.
It's just like even like you're saying, like humanity on a level of, with all the racist, I can't even talk. I'm trying to give a thought. With all of the awakening and everything that's been happening with George Floyd and stuff. It's just the same reason that, nobody's looking at a criminal, history or anything. And us naturally were just like, it doesn't matter. He didn't deserve X, Y, and Z. And so we were able to look past that and just look at the humanity of, like him as a human and be like, regardless of how you're looking at the situation, he didn't deserve it, regardless of his criminal past, regardless of how he was dressed, regardless of how he acted. We were all able to look past any of that and say that he didn't deserve it. But like if we like with women or like with Meg Thee Stallion or something like that, then you want to figure out what she did to provoke and to initiate that situation, to put herself in that situation. Nobody questioned that. And so that's always the things, that always pop out, because it's just like, how can we look beyond, them just being, black, I guess, or just, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. It's like why will we will humanize, we will even go as far as humanizing a black man and being like, oh, he's just a man. Like, why would you take his life?
Yeah.
But won't give the same respect to a black woman.
You'll be like, she was with a couple of people, you can't go around pissing people off. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's like, we'll find so many reasons to, to justify, what happened to our females,
or she was
and just completely humanize and uplift and, make all of our black men kings, and nobody, they don't understand that we have to hold our families down. We also have to hold it down at work. And then when you're having a bad day or something like that, we have to come home and fix our face and wipe our, take care of our children and take care of you and nurture you back to make you feel whole and stuff. And then we still go to work. We're still paid $10,000, $20,000, $15,000 less than the next person beside us, and we have far more credentials. It's just like we're just always constantly trying to, I don't know, rise above or be just considered. If nothing else, just be considered.
Play devil advocate here.
Go ahead, Quia.
I feel like, honestly, a lot of African Americans choose to put themselves in that light because they want to be seen as the superwoman. You don't have to continuously take traumatic experiences from people. Just because you've grown up in trauma or been taught that you're supposed to endure through the pain. No, you do not.
Yep.
It's not.
I don't.
It does not have to be your normal. It does not.
I'm so glad you said that.
I know, but I'm just talking about other people.
Absolutely. It allows us to unpack that the superwoman syndrome and why I feel people don't feel we need protection, because we've been protecting ourselves for so long.
You got it.
You got this.
Girl.
Yeah.
And people forget that even a lot of our strength derives from necessity. The fact that we had to utilize it, not because you wanted to.
Right.
And that most women that I've interacted with desire to have the softer side. They desire to be able to show their vulnerability. They desire to say,
but I can't.
Exactly.
Right.
What you say, Quia?
I would love to, but I can't.
We would love to do that, but we can't.
Because one thing about Black women is, after you've learned that behavior that you need to go out and you need to take care of yourself, you need to establish yourself and do things. It's not like we don't want to, but now I need to be with somebody I can trust to do it.
Yes.
After I've established myself, like, you don't throw your pearls to swine. You just don't.
Right.
You work really hard to establish yourself and build yourself to a point. Then do you just like trust yourself to any old body? It's hard after. It's hard after that. After you've established yourself, to then find somebody you can trust to be vulnerable with, because you do have to be this person at work, and you do have to be this person for your kids. A lot of our families, if we come from different kinds of families, we have to be the grown up in the family.
Yes.
So we have to be the first generation something. Yeah.
Generational thing. You got a lot of things going on. If you're the older sibling, you still mothering your little sister and little brother. Sometimes you're doing a lot. So to find somebody strong enough and willing and dependable enough, because after you open yourself up with that vulnerability to a person and they disturb that, for Black women,
listen, you might as well go ahead and start packing your bags now.
Yeah. Thanksgiving and New Year's, it is on, and then everybody after that. So that's important. That's important. There are layers to it. You don't just, build yourself up to just give it all the crap. You know what I mean? So I completely agree with you.
Absolutely. And so let's go ahead, Mika.
I definitely agree with that. However, I think that the fundamentals is where the breakdown comes in, and in the socialization of women in general, girls in general, as to gender roles and things of that nature that play into the construct of what we should be doing and how it should be done and how we should conduct ourselves and carry ourselves. And that garners the level of respect that we receive. If you're a lady, you receive a certain different type of respect than, someone who's more loose or fast or whatever. We've been taught that through the constructs of church and things of that nature. But my concern is that, most people get to the point that we're all discussing where you like, oh, my wall's up, I'm not taking this mess. But it was times and years where I know when in my 20s where I was in relationships that I really should not have been in. And I should have demanded that respect. And I had to go through those processes to get to the point where I am now, where I'm like, son, boy, we ain't doing that. But, you have to get there. And we have to really recognize, that the reason that we get to that point is a transition that, like I said, I know dating in college, I made some terrible decisions on some of the people that I dated.
I think we all did.
But the one thing is true.
After college,
we have to get there. Like, we can't still be getting there at this point. At this point, I think it's really more of a belief, because a lot of it's going to go back to really internal at the same time. Like, even when it comes to having that syndrome or being identified in this particular bracket of women or Black women, you can just say that's not for me, and I'm going to operate in a completely different vein. And so a lot of it, I feel like you have to go through certain things to really grow and mature and then be able to look back. It's that whole identification process of what respect means to you. And then, okay, like this is my standard.
And it's okay. I tell my nieces that are young, they're in, teens and early 20s. I tell them all the time, look, you don't have to be married. You do not have to have kids. You do not have to, work at a job. You can set your own path for how you want things to be. And, we've been socialized. I've had my nieces at 16 to be like, I'm going steady with this boy and I can't talk to anybody else. And I'm like, what? What you mean you can't talk to nobody else? Like, who told you that? Why is that what we're doing here? And they're like, well, if you talk to more than one boy, then, you have a reputation. I'm like, a reputation for what? Being smart? I mean,
like being intelligent. Girl, you better date around. And listen,
but that's
we look at this now.
Go ahead,
Quit.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We look at this now, and it's like, if I could talk to a 16-year-old sis and be like, boo, girl, you better have you 5, 6, 7, 10 boyfriends.
Oh my God.
But just because people don't know the difference between, I guess it's going to depend on religion and your society, because it's the difference between courting. Courting is leading to marriage.
Right.
And then you have dating where that's just like
it's casual
with no intention.
Yep.
And so
Yep. I think we need to do a better job of educating our young Black girls, because we kind of get the boys to do it. They date and have multiple people, but we have girls kind of tunnel vision on, okay, you got to be on this path to marriage. You got to be on this path to do this. You got to do this by a certain age. And it's such a dangerous
the fear.
We make them feel like they're failures if they don't get to that.
Yeah. And the fear of being alone. Like, y'all, there is nothing wrong than being with you. Like, when you get to that point where you're okay with being with yourself, like, there is nothing wrong with that. And I know it's hard. We were taught, like, I know I was like, you don't want to grow up and be by yourself. Like, that's horrible. Like, you know, it's not. I
have a confession. I want to be by myself a lot of days.
Right.
But you know what? Being by yourself is when you cultivate respect. Like it's it's the difference of obviously, they say if you can get set in your ways, but really when you're younger and you're really trying to like Angie mentioned, if I can't find the right person, this is the time, this is the opportunity for me to figure me out and to make sure I'm where I need to be. So I think that is true, is that if I am by myself, I'm cultivating what it really means for all this.
I'm gonna go to some Facebook comments really quick, guys. Yoli, who's also part of this Dope Black Tribe, says lessons have to be learned, and that's in relation to us talking about what happens when you're dating younger and going through different things that kind of help cultivate who we become as older women. And then Ashley says, but there's a thing in the Black community that we don't know about dating, and that's when you become labeled as a hoe.
That's true.
Yeah.
But not if you respect yourself, because there's a way to date. Now, I don't
But this is my thing. I don't mean to be. I mean, of course, nobody wants the label of that. However, I just feel like this. Like at some point, you have to be okay with who you are.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it's anybody's position to really judge you for the decisions or the choices that you make in regards to your sexual life. I mean, if you're a consenting adult, I just think that that's between that person and the person that they're consenting to engage in that activity with.
Right.
And I just feel like, like I said from the beginning, we're socialized to believe, a certain way is the path to get there. And let's just be honest. I mean, people marry hoes. I mean,
hoes be winning, and y'all know it. Like I'm just trying to. Somebody got to say it. Hoes be winning because I'm sitting up here trying to make. I'm like, what? Am I messing up? Like, I mean, am I wrong to respect and have some respect? Because yes, truly, I'm just saying you have to put it out there, because some hoes do be winning, and that's just it is what it is.
We gotta
but maybe that's how we depends on how we define what a hoe is.
We're in the Bible Belt. We're in the Bible Belt.
Yeah,
so
we got to think about
right.
Very true.
Now, also,
very true.
We got to get. I started working on that in college. Okay, you got to think about labels. Okay, this is the way I see labels. The people that label you are the same age as you.
No experience.
Like, where is their validity? I mean, who died and made them the label boss? Do you be happy with yourself? Because what happens is we try to put up these images and then go home and we're unhappy and we ain't even doing the stuff we wanted to do.
Yep.
Right.
Do stuff you wanted. Whatever.
I was aware of that for a long time and trying to build a brand, and just worrying about your image and not wanting to be famous, because I felt like my work will speak for itself, and I saw myself on TV. And then you start thinking about, oh my God, like what if that guy in high school, you know what I mean? I started thinking like that, and just worrying about like the image of like.
Opinion. And my unpopular opinion is that people should be able to embrace the things that they enjoy and they like within reason and within safety. Okay.
Yeah.
And we also have to stop creating this culture where when a person becomes of age, that they can still be labeled as anything, because we do not do that to men. We don't call men hoes. We never say that they're promiscuous. We never give them this title. They get praised for their behavior, but we'll look at a young girl that's exploring her sexuality and call her a hoe, and that's inappropriate. What we need to do is redirect that energy and make sure that as long as she's educated, as long as she's protecting herself, it does not devalue you, okay? Like, it doesn't turn you into this different person. It does not make you less likely to get married. It actually makes you more likely to get married, because then your potential husband thinks you got some skills.
Oh, Lord.
I'm just saying.
It's true.
We have got to stop demonizing women who don't walk the, I'm going to say, the Ruth walk.
Right.
Yeah.
It ain't fair.
This book called Sugar. This is a book called Sugar. Read
but Ruth.
And Sugar in her
go ahead to me.
Do it, Mika.
Mika said, but Ruth.
But I mean, she left with her mother-in-law and everything, but when she went to that field, she had to glean. That means she was out there working, okay? And that man took her in, okay? She wasn't no lady of chastity in that field, baby. That's how she got Boaz.
No.
Okay.
Look at your face.
That word is fine.
Look at Lo. Okay.
I'm looking at Lo. What you got to say, Lo?
Lo, tell us what's on your mind, Lo. Jump in here. Tell us what's on your mind, sis, because you thinking something.
Unmute yourself.
I'm just taking it all in right now. I'm just absorbing a lot, and
But
I'm taking notes on a few things. But I'm listening. I'm listening.
But I always had this thought. Have you guys, okay, I don't know if everybody's a Christian that's on here or that's listening, but I always thought, I was like, I could be wrong, but I never thought that God would be up there and like, okay, you had 20 men, you had one before marriage. I mean, heck, all fornicators over there.
Right.
Who had 100?
All y'all.
You had one before, you a fornicator, so you going over there with the rest of the fornicators.
Well, I always thought that, like, as a Christian growing up, that no sin is no one sin is bigger than the other. So it doesn't really matter. You could be a hoe and you can, steal 10 cents, from somebody, and it still be measured as the same thing. So I mean, it just depends on who you're talking to and who you do. Depending on what your pastor talk about,
Then that goes into a whole different conversation, because now you're talking about relationships, and it's about your relationship with God. Because if you are in a position where you repent for whatever you've done, it don't matter if you ask 1,000 or one. You ain't got to ask for forgiveness but one time, and you're done. And He's not going to hold it against you. My issue is that society holds it against us forever. We carry that scarlet letter forever. I'm quick to tell
that is because you allow society to have that power.
There you go.
See, it's because you, in your mind, you give them validity to believe that it's something wrong with what you have done.
Right.
And you allow them to judge you. When you get to a point where, it is what it is. And when you're comfortable in yourself, it just, I'm not apologizing to anybody for Tamika Bennett. I'm just not. I am who I am. And, it is what it is.
I think that's one of the things that I know, if each one of us could go back and talk to our younger self, it would be to encourage her to live unapologetically, because this world is only going to accept you as you accept yourself. Yeah. So if you spend all of your energy worrying about what the next person is thinking about you, you're going to be miserable. Absolutely. You have to love and embrace who you are, because if you love and embrace who you are, you're able to do something that's grander and bigger than anybody else, because you are on your own terms. But when we don't have any kind of definite terms for what we're doing, it makes it hard.
Yes. Yep.
We have to be able to have that conversation. Angie and I was talking a couple of weeks ago about elevating ourselves to auntie status. Like, we're past the phase of kind of living in this place where we look at girls and be like, no, it's like, nah, baby, auntie, we're going to help you, because we don't want you to be walking in this mess and feeling like you can't be liberated from. Right. Be who you are. And so we have to really encourage one another and encourage younger women, even older women, because there's some older women who haven't found their freedom either, to be able to walk in who you are and be confident.
And I think that we are, this generation of us are going to probably raise a lot of healthy girls, right? Because this generation of us is one, I feel like the first generation who is more accepting, more open, and are giving girls a different advice. I grew up queer. I grew up Pentecostal. Mm-hmm. Let me just tell you. We didn't talk about nothing. We wasn't allowed to talk about nothing. You better not ask no questions, because if you did, asking questions had you labeled as fast and trouble. Mm-hmm. Asking questions, you didn't explore no sexuality. You didn't explore no life. You hit puberty and you start feeling stuff. That's unholy. Mm-hmm. We didn't have these conversations. We didn't do those types of things. You understand what I'm saying? So I didn't jump and see. One thing about me, I'm not scared to tell you about me. Whatever, because I don't care what you think. So when I jumped, I didn't jump off the porch into college. But when I jumped off that porch, belly flopped off that. Listen,
said belly flop.
Listen, I jumped off that, but and I'm being honest. I jumped off that porch without information.
Yep.
I jumped off
Yeah.
that porch emotionally immature. I jumped in. For those of you that knew me in college, I was discovering myself. I was walking around confused. Like, seriously. I jumped off
We all
without
were.
information. I didn't know how to handle
That was all of
I
us.
didn't know how to handle first heartbreak. I didn't know how to handle relationships. I didn't know how to handle friendships. And we didn't talk about that type of stuff back home. Right? Everything college was an education for me that had nothing to do with the classroom. And so when I run into young girls now, I have nieces, I have little cousins, and they'll tell you how very direct and abrasive I am about just experiencing yourself. You got a question? Ask me. I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you to go pray about all of a sudden I like a boy and I'm 12 years old. Go pray about it. That's the devil. No, it's not. That's nature.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if somebody had told me that, then maybe I could have bottled up some of these emotions or distributed them properly and taken better care of myself. It's rough when you jump out there and you have to learn everything in the streets. That's rough.
And you're literally learning it in that moment.
Yeah. I don't desire that for
real time.
And, you know, we get to a place where we realize we have a responsibility. Like we have a responsibility to not judge whomever we see because of what they have on or what they said, but hey, you know, this is a teachable moment. And take that moment to be sincere because like you just mentioned, the difference or the disconnect for you, Angela, was that I didn't have anyone to bridge me from, you know, what I was feeling to really get to the point to discover how to rectify that particular scenario. So I think as women and young women who are coming behind us, we have to empower them. We have to make sure that we give them exactly what they need because now we have the responsibility.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm so glad y'all said that because it kind of leads into our next part of our discussion where we were talking about Black women working together and collaboratively, because that's what it's going to take in order for this to happen. In order for us to be able to embrace the next generation, in order for us to be able to talk to our sisters who are not our blood, who are not our relatives, who are not our sorority sisters, who are not our church members or our community members, and really have conversations, courageous conversations about being free from judgment, being free from anything else, living your life unapologetically. We have to be able to build those relationships. And we are fighting against a myth that says Black women can't work together. What do we do?
I think we have to be careful. Like when we were talking about the whole situation with Megan Thee Stallion and her assault, I noticed that in the comment sections, it's not just men who have negative things to say. Sometimes it's us. And it's a product of what we've been taught and how we've been fed to really just not value ourselves in the way that we should. And so I always try to be careful before I criticize another woman, just in general, especially openly and publicly, because, you know, you don't want to be that person that tears somebody down to the point where they can't be their true self because, you know, your opinion sometimes does carry weight, you know, with some people who aren't there yet. And so I think we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard of our criticism and how we actually do it. And we got to have a lot of more backdoor meetings, not this out in the open, putting somebody on blast, you know, for likes and giggles and stuff like that, because you're really destroying people when you're doing that. It's bullying, and it's a way to do everything. And when you kind of have things like this with a tribe where people are sitting around and talking, you can get to the fabric of women and see, you know, who we are underneath the surface and understand that, yes, we have feelings and, you know, there's a way to do everything. And sometimes we have to be more careful about how we approach situations.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then it goes into how were you taught to make friends? Were you even taught to make friends, or were you taught that you don't trust girls, they gonna talk about you, or you don't need friends, you have your family? And so then you don't learn how to build relationship with others, even if it's just a work relationship. Like a lot of times Black women, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I speak for self then, so I won't say Black women, but for self, I was taught that you really can't trust people, especially females that are supposed to be friends, that you only needed your family. And so if you are taught to only need your family and taught to not trust others, how can we work well with each other?
You know
That's
what,
such a
Blair?
dangerous lesson, though, right?
It's, I think we got to think about intentions, and we got to think about, especially when you're amongst women, whatever the setting is, being like-minded. Now, all my entire life, I've been around women, and you guys know it. Like, I'm from a huge family, a lot of sisters, and I have no issues with, in any particular format, whether we have difference of opinion or whatever the case might be. So sometimes I think we have to figure out, why do people feel that way? Why is this even a myth? In some cases it's true, but again, if we pay attention to the intentions, where someone is coming from, you can know how to approach a scenario before you even speak. You can figure out what's happening, so you can turn the scenario and the situation around. And then again, if you find that we're just not connecting, we are not collaborating, we're not like-minded, that's not the woman or the women for you. Like, you got to be in a group with someone who's going to lift you up and is going to constantly push you to the next level, because that's what it's really about. Life is truly about relationships. And if I'm going to be in a relationship with someone, I should be advancing, right? So I think it's all about perspective when you think about it, when you look at it as a whole.
Absolutely. I like to say that your vibe attracts your tribe. So if you find yourself not being able to connect with people, do some self-reflection, do some internal searching to figure out what is it that you're seeking from these relationships, and what is it that you're giving to these relationships. I pride myself on, because I'm like you, D. I've been raised by women. I've been around women my whole life. My mom has had friends and girlfriends my entire life that she has visited and taken care of and could call on and spend time with. So I saw healthy woman relationships with friends, healthy women friendships. So those are the type of friendships that I sought to have. I knew that being a friend, of what I saw with my mother, is that you're there for your friends, that if they need you, you support them, that you're not just a shoulder to cry on. You're also the person that's celebrating their successes. You're the person that's rooting them on when they feel like they can't go any further. You're the person that they can call on if they need something, but also the person that can be a person to call on. Like, we have to make sure that what we're desiring of our friends, we're giving that out too. And sometimes the reason we haven't received what we desire is because we haven't shown that that's what we want. Right? So I often hear people speak about not trusting women, and I in my mind, I'm not gonna lie, that's probably one of the most judgmental emotions or moments I have. I'd be like, why? What you doing that you can't be trusted, that you feel like you can't trust somebody else? Like, that's where my mind immediately goes, like, why you can't trust people? What's going on? Like, there's a bigger trust issue there. Who hurt you? What woman did something to you? It could be a mother-daughter relationship that has impaired the way you view women, right? And people don't want to unpack that or talk about it. But a lot of the times their issues with other women, peer age women, has nothing to do with their peers. It has something to do with other people. So we have to look at that and try to break down that barrier, because I feel like we could gain so much more from leaning into the relationships that we have, from leaning on the relationships we have, than discarding them and acting like they don't exist.
I think too, though, it's two things. Like you said, we do have to lean into the relationships that we have, but you have to make sure that the people in your tribe are there for you and not there for any other purpose. A lot of negative, and like I said, I don't mind talking about me. A lot of negative interactions that I have with women are based in experience, based in that have happened. Where for me, I'm one of those people, I don't know if it's clingy or what. When I decide I'm friends with somebody, I'm all in, right? My friendships are like relationships. I got some friends I feel like I'm married to. If we break up, it's a problem.
Right.
And I don't know why that is, but there have also been breaks in relationships that have been traumatic, right? So then you don't invite people into close to you too quickly. You don't invite people into your circle because things that have happened. And when you start seeing signs, it could be like the smallest thing. But when it takes your mind back to something traumatic that happened in another relationship, you'd be like, cancel Christmas on that. Also, I wanted to say something. I wanted to go back to something earlier. We as women, Black women, also need to monitor. We need to know our power. I want you to really, really think about this. We have to think about when we need to compliment each other. We need to speak more life and more power into each other. Because think about it. If somebody tells you, if some white lady tells you, and this, I don't mean to make this a black and white thing, a Black man, we take compliments different from other Black women than we take from anybody else. A white woman can tell you look cute, and you be like, "Oh, thank you."
Thank you.
I can say, just random say, "Oh, cute." But when the Black girl say, "Girl, you doing that's it. It do something to the inside, right?" We need to
It really does.
understand and own their power and be real positive lights for each other. Because in the same way that we can empower each other, we can also break each other down with our voice.
Yeah.
Right? We don't take criticism. Anybody else can criticize us, but when another Black woman does it, it makes you sit down and be like, okay, what's really going on?
You gave me chills, Angela. You gave me chills.
Power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm adding somebody else to the stream, y'all. Welcome my sister friend, Miss Amber Stallworth. Hold on, she went away. She gonna come back. We'll get her back in just a moment. But you just said some powerful stuff. It did give me chills too. I told my husband, I was kind of going through something the other week. I can't remember what it was, but I needed a hug. And when he hugged me, my response was, I said, that felt like a hug from a Black woman. You did really good. He said, what? But it ain't nothing like, it's nothing comparable to a hug from a Black woman. Okay. Or a compliment, because we don't even say, hey girl, you look nice. We don't say that. We be like, oh boo, baby. Yes. Like we literally show out so bad. You're the person, a whole line of yes. And that is way more powerful than saying, I really like your blouse today.
Yeah.
It ain't the same. So the energy that we give to each other has the power to make or break. And we should be doing everything in our power to make our sisters stronger, to make our tribe, whether they're a part of your tribe or not. If they are a Black woman, they are a part of your tribe, period.
But I think you should, but I think it's also, and that's just from my experience, I think that you should also be conscious of the energy that you surround yourself with, because as much as we would want to uplift our women and our friends and, our Black women and our sisters, sometimes you have to be careful with the energy that you surround yourself with. Like if you give it in passing, I can see that. But as far as like always feeling like you need to just support, like some people are in different seasons, and sometimes you have to be able to have a level of discernment as you're passing through them, because sometimes you might pick up on that energy, and so you still have to be conscious about that, because that was what I had to do. I was the person that, like, I never met an enemy until they became one. And I didn't know that they were enemy until it was, revealed. I didn't know. And so in trying to just be me and just always be Kedra and just supportive and stuff, I learned hate. I learned how not to trust. I learned how not to share my work or my thoughts or things like that. So it's like as much as we want to, have this ideology of like being like supportive to one another, and it's only through experience as we get older when you learn how to manage it. So like you can give it, but you have to learn how to manage that energy that you give, or how much energy you actually preserve, because it is contagious. And it can fester within, and then it'll create that angry Black woman and everything else. Because some women, as much as I want to support them, I just can't. It's just like, and I don't wish them anything wrong. I don't wish them no ill will, no nothing. But it's just like, I just cannot. And we cannot confuse the quantity or the length of a friendship with the quality of a friendship, because we get so caught up into, man, I've known her since high school. What does that mean? Okay.
Pass the collection plate.
Right.
If somebody is
I
not,
like that.
yep,
But that's what we try to hold on to is that quantity, and you're so fixated on the number, and you're not even thinking about how many quality years was in this friendship. And then you probably only narrow that down to 2 because you spend most of that time avoiding each other so that you can tiptoe and not be able to be who you are or tell the truth.
I think, you know what, Keidra? I think when I think about loving on Black women, I think about it from such a holistic perspective that I don't even delve down into my inner circle, because I know my inner circle is small. I know that the people that I really pour out that love, that is, you can call on me for anything, anytime, anywhere, any place, is not the same as me giving. I give it way more freely than I receive it. And my friends who know me know that. They know that I will love on, I will support, I will really pour into a lot of people, but the people that I allow in my space to pour into me have to be select, because I have been in a place where I've been damaged, mistreated, and abused. So, and lived through traumatic experiences. So the people who are in my space know that. They honor that. So they know my love languages. They know the way that they can interact with me. They know when I respond to them in a certain way, what that means. So they're not sending me another text message. They're calling me or they're FaceTiming me saying, let me see your face. Let me see what's going on with you. So we have to be able to say, and it's okay to departmentalize the people that you interact with, because I agree, you can't give your energy to everybody, but you can also not destroy people in passing.
Yeah, like what I think the line is just like what doctors are, do no harm. Like they might not, every Black woman, every person is not gonna be your person. Y'all ain't gonna work out. It just is what it is in that situation. But the mantra that I try to live by is to just do no harm. Like, even if you're not my folk, you're not my tribe, I'm not gonna do anything to tear you down. I'm not gonna come looking for trouble. We have to start seeing each other as humans and not competition. Like, I think that's where that comes in, is that we see people as competition. There's this, underseated, we got to be successful. I got to do it up. I got to show her, I'll let her know, what I'm doing over here. That woman ain't thinking about you. She don't care what you doing. You wasting your time, and you sitting up here putting all of your energy into something that's crazy, when you could just really just focus on being your best self. And so the thing is yes, you do need discernment. You need to feel the water, test out, and know who the people are that are for you and against you. But at the same time, even those that are against you, and they're going to be people like that, I still live by the mantra of just not doing any harm to them, and they go on about their merry way. But yeah, I've had friends, when you first encounter them, and I know I probably sound crazy, but I've had the Holy Spirit tell me as soon as I met them, stay away from them. They are bad.
Dang.
And every time I have gone against that, I have lived to regret it tremendously.
That's right. McKee says on Facebook, she says, a lot of times we as women don't know how to be okay with seeing another woman win. Their achievements somehow remind us of our inadequacy.
But see, that's
a very honest statement.
That's what it is. And that's what I was talking about earlier, is that, it's always something internal. We have to address that internal piece, because like you just mentioned, Tamika, the greatest competition that you have is yourself. Yeah. And if you can be minded of that, you can always push someone next to you to their next greatest level. Like, I shouldn't have to compete with you, because really at the end of the day, I'm competing with my best self. And so it's always going to be an internal fight, that I think. And going back to, I do believe you have to be careful, however, in terms of who you allow in, because there's one thing to, pour into someone, but if you deplete yourself and no one is pouring back into you.
I want to say to Michelle about giving to those people. You don't have to get them.
You have to
it was a hard lesson learned, but I also learned, Quia, that it actually fills my bucket to fill other people's buckets.
But you're gonna be empty. You gotta think about yourself. Like, I don't ever mind telling people that I've been through counseling. And my counselor always says, if you lay something on the table and you see somebody can't respect it, then why do you keep adding stuff to it?
That's
so
true.
If those people in passing, they might just be brushing it off. You don't have to keep giving them that. Like, but you are.
That's why I got you,
And this
Mika, and Angela, and Deidre, and Kendra, and Amber, and Blair, and all these people. That's why my tribe is who they are, because you all fill me up the way I need to be filled so I can go and support people. Because here's the thing. Sometimes a person can't love you because they've never seen what love looked like. And even if I can't be there to show you every single time, but I can be one example to show you that, hey, somebody cannot know you from John Brown and love you and treat you with respect and want you to genuinely win, root for you, and need nothing from you. People need to see that exists. But at the end of the day, they do. But at the end of the day, I need people like Tamika to be like, all right, bring it back. Queer. All right, that's enough. That's enough. Your cup is empty now.
Michelle.
See, this is my thing. You can be giving. Like I'm very giving, but I know who to give to. Mm-hmm. And I know how to not be taken advantage of at this point in my life. Like, I know my younger self, you know, when you're younger, you're looking for approval. You're looking for somebody to validate you, to say, oh, look, Tamika's a great friend. She's the best friend ever. You know, she shows up when I need her to be there. And at this point in life, it's like, you know, I'm not looking to get notches on my friendship belt or whatever from somebody to say, oh, she's a great friend. You know, I'm just going to be who I am. I will be a great friend, but you cannot let people manipulate you into doing things that you really don't want to do. I had to learn that I couldn't be everything for everybody. Yeah. Because at one point I was going like a crazy woman everywhere, to every funeral, every baby shower, every wedding, every family event. And when it would be time for me to look around, I'd be looking in the room at myself.
Come on. Done that.
Listen. Since
I'm still somewhat doing that.
Since we mentioned the Bible twice, you know, we talked about Ruth and we talked about the Holy Spirit. I'm gonna bring it back, because what Michelle has just said and what Tamika has just said is just the same analogy. Jesus had 12 disciples, but he only rocked with 3, Peter, James, and John. So even though you may have a group of people that, yes, I'm cool with, I'm going to connect with, you still got to have that small circle, right? That you know that this is at the end of the day. I know that I can go to
the tray.
Pass the tray, Kedra. Amber says she has a passing the tray. Go right ahead, Amber.
You preached the whole sermon just then. Lived it. To me, I know exactly what you're talking about. And then you get empty. And then when you get empty and you're depleted,
you get resentful.
And then you get resentful. But then people start looking at the same friends you pour everything out to, will turn on you and be like, oh, she acting funny. Oh,
she acting different now.
Empty.
I got it, boo. You got it. Matter of fact, I'm waiting for you to give it back.
Okay.
Right. And it's true. I've been there.
Until you can, when you listen. When you're in the wrong tribe, when you're in the wrong place, and when you're trying to pour into the wrong cup, don't matter if you fill it up if it ain't the right liquid.
Amen.
Don't matter. It's never gonna be enough for them. This is what I know for a fact, because it ended in trauma for me for a couple of relationships. It don't matter what I do, how good I try to be for you, how much I try to be there for you. I'm gonna give you my last. I'm gonna get, you know, whatever. If this is not your person, it don't matter what you do. It don't matter until you be dry bones.
Yep.
Your bones won't be enough.
Right. I would say
you have to go back to what we were talking about earlier. Learn how to take care of yourself.
Take that cape off. Take that cape off. Yes.
Ration yourself out. So you got some left for yourself. So you got some left for your family. So you got some left for your kids. So you got some left for your own spirit. I have lived it. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. People will use you until they use you up, and then you will not be the person they choose when it's time for them to choose somebody.
But you know what? You know what, Angela? To some degree, you raise your hand when you do start being not that you don't show up for people. I wouldn't say that, because if I say I'm going to do something, I'm committed to doing it. But when you start doing everything, that's when you put on that superwoman syndrome, and that's when you deplete your own self. So it's just a matter of saying, you know what, this is where I am in life, and this is my commitment, which are my priorities first. And absolutely, if I can do something, yes, but I have no problem with saying no. No is a good
There
thing.
you go.
And no is a complete sentence. I learned that recently. No is a complete sentence. And I'm learning how to say no to people, because that was hard for me at one point. I didn't want to disappoint anybody. But I realized when my panic attacks were getting too extreme, or I couldn't get out of the bed, or Tamika's calling me and got to life coach me to being able to move through the day because I can't function, enough is enough.
Yes.
And that doesn't just go for friendships. That go for marriages.
Yes.
They go for sororities and work.
It goes for clients. I was avoiding calls.
It even goes for children.
Yeah.
Because I realized that the same little people I gave life to, they act like they can feed themselves, ironically, are up before me on Saturdays and feed themselves. So I'm like, it's some stuff y'all can do for yourself while you up in here acting all helpless.
Yeah.
So it's learning that different balance. But I know Amber had a comment that she wanted to share. Go ahead, Amber. Amber, you in there? Okay, I think she's coming off of mute. Or maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. But I appreciate just the wrap up with being able to know that we have some boundaries. We actually covered a lot tonight, y'all. Like, we covered a lot. We talked about the importance of respecting Black women. We talked about building those relationships. We even talked about the healthy boundaries, which was going to be a whole nother conversation. But I'm glad we covered it, because there's so many times where we don't realize how we are emptying our buckets and then nobody's filling them. But we hope that when you come and you spend time with us, with this tribe of dope Black women, that you get your bucket filled and that you realize that there are some things that you may not be able to tackle on your own. So all of us embrace and support the idea of therapy. Go get you a good therapist. You can have therapy and Jesus. You can have them both. We support it. Get yourself a therapist and talk through that. Unpack who you are, because when you discover who you are, you could do anything. You could live unapologetically, and we are so excited about that. You have to learn not to take on everybody else's problems, everybody else's issues. It's okay. We are so happy to be here. Ladies, I'm so blessed. I'm not going to call it fortunate. I am blessed to have you all as a part of my tribe. You ladies are amazing. Y'all are so dope. I am so blessed to have you, and I appreciate you all coming to bless I am MichelleRenee.com tonight with your presence. I hope that you'll join us next week. Next week, we're going to be unpacking some different. We're going to be talking about, so what is the topic for next week, y'all? We're actually having a tribal council that focuses on pregnancy, infant, and loss, because it is pregnancy and infant loss awareness month. Tomorrow is actually World Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day. So next week we're going to be talking about special guests. We want to talk about it because we have a lot of women, friends, family who've experienced infant loss, who've experienced pregnancy loss, who don't talk about it because we've created this stigma around it. So we want to bring it to the council and have some conversations and embrace some healthy conversations around pregnancy and infant loss next week. And then we'll be touching base the following week on breast cancer awareness as we get ready to wrap up Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And our last and final will be domestic violence. And I know we're going to have a lot to say about all three of those different topics. So I hope you guys will join us. Thank you so much to this tribe of dope Black women. Y'all give yourself a round of applause. All these kisses, because y'all are what? Dope.
Blair.
Dope.
Dope.
We love you. This council is now over. We consider this council done. Tamika, can you slap your gavel for me? Because I know you got one.
Ding.
Yeah.
Hi, Blair. I see you, Blair.
I think we have someone who want to say something before we wrap up.
Blair's in. Let me get Blair back. Where Blair been the whole conversation?
I thought Blair was gone.
Blair, I just knew you could
I was like, I think Blair.
I've been listening the whole time. I just didn't want to drop in. So I've been listening to the entire conversation. This was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank
I don't
you.
know what to say, but most of the stuff I had to say, you guys were saying, and hey, this is good. This is pretty cool. Like this can get real heated, and people's blood pressure can go up. Because these conversations, you know, it gets real. So this is good. I'm excited.
Yep.
I'm so fortunate to have you all as my tribe. Like you ladies we've got about 15 total. I think it's like 17 total. That literally provide the heartbeat to be able to do things that I do, whether it's calling you for counsel or calling you for your opinion, whether it's having somebody to pray with me, whether it's having Blair stay on me to be physically fit and healthy, which I'm proud of this journey, to making sure I'm financially fit. Yeah. To having Angie to be like, hey, let me pull your coat on this real quick and talking. We gotta have all of that because guess what that gives us? It gives us balance. And I have to give a huge shout out to Quia because every time I count myself out, Quia says, but you should feel this way. You should be proud of what you do. You should be happy that you're doing that, and you deserve to be honored for what you do. So accept that compliment, sis. So Quia, I'm accepting the compliment. I'm proud of unpacking, and I know that we're going to have some amazing things coming forth from this tribe. The council is now closed. We thank y'all. Everybody say good night.
Good night.
Next week.
Night. Y'all get some rest. Bye, you guys. Good night.
Bye.
Love you, sis.
Love you more.
Bye, Blair. Bye, Blair, neighbor.